Here, Life22. Had to wait for all the bumping cars with their bumping music to drive by. Don't want them copyright infringements. But so I promised a lot of people in my ward that when I was an alderman, that even after I stepped down, that I wouldn't let the city go to hell, and I've been trying my damnedest. About a year after I left, it was about a year after I left, the DPW director stepped down, who had a litany of memorandums as well as minute notes and things like that on a particular intersection that had always been an issue. I had brought it up in conversation when I first became an alderman, and it quickly got shot down, and it got explained to me why it was an issue. Why it was an issue, but how this was the best solution for it. And as soon as the previous DPW director had left, before they had hired the new one, the Common Council took it upon themselves to put a yield sign in. We're here at the illustrious Lincoln or Oak Hill Park, where they're going to put in bathrooms, a theater. They've redone they've put a dog park in. They're redoing a bunch of other things. And but yeah, so as you can see, the intersection here is kind of it makes sense. So we're kind of doing like a quick, like this is, I don't know, this is hard to describe. Like this intersection is kind of like, some people think it's a little nuts, but I don't think it's that bad. I think with this bump out, it slowed down traffic. Now they're saying that there's more accidents here, which is just people being idiots, right? Like, so Washington Street ends here. So here's how it happens. Washington Street ends here. So essentially, traffic from 4th Street can flow back onto Washington Street because Washington Street is the priority street. Proprietary street? Anyways, it's the more important street. It takes precedence over other streets. So 4th Street can flow there because traffic has to go. So essentially, they've made that the flow of traffic, right? That makes sense, right? Washington Street is primary street, 4th Street is primary street. So both of these streets can flow into one another as if it was the same street. And if you're coming down it's still the 200 block of North 4th, you have to hit the stop sign. If you want to go straight and there's no car, you know what I mean? You're not going to interject yourself into traffic, then you stop. If you are, then, that just it made common sense. Now you come over here, and idiots at the corner here of 4th and Lawrence have a tendency to ignore the fact that it's a two-way stop and they have to yield traffic automatically to 4th Street. But, like, every so often you get an idiot that blows by or doesn't realize that there's child daycare there, so they continue to speed up traffic. The other complaint was that they did the ADA compliant bump outs, which is a state mandate through, like, the American with Disabilities Act and stuff like that has gotten its hands into every curb design. So, but it also calms traffic, so people have to slow down, which helps out the Emmanuel, the ICC Children's Daycare, right? So that was a plus. But then, like, the fact that you have to yield to traffic, the fact that you have to obey a stop sign, those are common sense things of the road. You learn that when you're taking your road test, right? You learn that there's certain instances that you have to yield, right? Like, if you come to a stop sign and it's a two-way stop and you have the right to go, but you're taking a left and the guy across from you has the right to go and he's taking a right, the manual on driver's safety and driver's, like, your road test license is based on the fact that person taking a right has the right of way. You're supposed to yield to that person. Like, even though you may have gotten to take a left first, you're taking the more egregious turn in that situation. So what the Common Council did here was they put a yield sign in here. They want you to yield to traffic, taking, like, to who? Who are you yielding to? You're yielding to nobody. Like, you come to this situation here, you can't yield to somebody who's taking a left onto Washington from 4th, the same way they can't yield to you because you're not obstructing their path of traffic, right? Like, that's common sense. So, and you're not yielding to anybody down there because they have to stop. So it goes, people who have the right of way to the any unspoken yields. There's sometimes you get to a spot where you get the unspoken yield, like I just described, where the left-hand turn gets trumped by the right-hand turn because you're taking the more egregious turn into traffic. at a two-way stop, maybe an opposing view, you know. But, and then you have people with a yield sign, and then it's the person with the stop sign. Like, that's the order of operations here, right? So, but like, the yield sign here is not an unspoken yield, it's a physical yield, and there is no unspoken or physical yield about it. You're not yielding to anybody. This is the most, like, they wanted to make this an all-way stop forever, and they compromised on putting a yield sign up, which was the stupidest thing it's just a jerk-off move. It's just like, oh, hey, you know, you guys want something here. Well, we did something. We put a yield sign in. It's like, well, why don't you just put a picture, like the third grader of the week, put their drawing up here. That would make more sense, because it is just as arbitrary as a yield sign where there is no practical order, common sense order for a yield sign. So that was another one of your favorite Kevin rants, trying to prevent the city from going to hell as best I can. I mean, so we'll catch you guys next time, Life22.